Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic, and I'm back! Yes, from the internetless wilderness of the Lake District. Yeah, I'm here. And as promised, I'm still going to do a comic book review. It's going to be pretty short because I only picked up 4 books this week. And nothing really on the shelf kind of went, oh, I must pick that up as well. So without further ado, but make sure you watch the very end because I'll do a bit of a news, a bit of a shout out, kind of to keep a Sunday vlog as well. But here we go with the comic book reviews. We start off with issue 4 of 5, Punisher Warzone, and I'm a bit confused. And the confusion comes from the Avengers. Now, right at the very start of this, we had basically Punisher, Frank Castle, making Spider-Man look a bit of an idiot, and obviously he felt a bit embarrassed and ashamed, and after almost 30 years of the Punisher, you know, meting out his version of justice with, you know, guns and knives and bombs and etc. Spider-Man suddenly thinks, well, this is enough. Yeah, 30 years later, this is enough. And he's got all the Avengers together to put down Frank Castle once and for all. So we've had the last two issues, issue 2 and issue 3, where we've had Black Widow and we've had Thor try to essentially take down Frank Castle. Now, Black Widow, I can see how the Punisher would have been able to get away with that. Despite the fact that he had his little idea of moving her towards these places where the bad guys are with the guns and the artillery and selling them, etc. So he had his own plan moving these Avengers to places where he wants them to be to stop all this gun trafficking, etc. Thor, brilliant storyline the way they did it, but clearly, you know, you put Thor against pretty much anybody and Thor is going to win out, and there's your end of the book, really. But in a kind of twist, but you kind of saw it, you know, the Avengers have this kind of ulterior motive, and it goes back to the whole Cole Alvis trial where she's taken full blame for the murders of the detectives, which happened at the end of the last series of The Punisher. Which, clever bit of writing by Rucker there. And now we get this issue, and this is where I get a little bit confused, because we all know, yeah, Punisher is going to come back into the country and try and save Alvis. And there's a little bit of a switcheroo kind of storyline moving Alvis, or the supposed Alvis, to the court or the prison. And they're expecting Punisher to, somewhere along route, make her escape. But he's clever, he's a clever guy, and dons an Avengers uniform to fool old Spidey. And it's just, I don't know what the Avengers are really doing. Are they allowing... At first you think they're allowing Punisher to do this because they know Alvis has kind of been a product of kind of Punisher ideology, thought, and at the same time they're letting Punisher do this, but they're not. They still want Punisher captured. It's very confusing and most un-Rucker-like. I do wonder if this is kind of... I hate to use it because we don't know, but the whole editorial ideal behind it, pushing Rucker to make the story go this way or that way. It's still a really good story, and I love the way that Punisher, you know, tricks the Avengers, because any story that makes the Avengers look foolish to me is spot on. But confusing, but still, great issue. Issue 45 of The Unwritten, and we take a little break from Tommy's journey into the underworld to go and rescue Lizzie, and we focus on two of the kind of minorish characters. We have Richard Savoy, the now vampire, who was a journalist who was following Tommy around, basically going to be writing his story, and Didge, who's this kind of cop investigator, and their two paths kind of cross. We see at the beginning Richie going through some town or city, and we get a kind of recap of the fact that, you know, Leviathan is dying or could be dead. And so the art of storytelling, the written word, the books, are diminishing. And instead, again, Mike Carey is using this whole ideal of the kind of celebrity culture we live in now, the quick fix of idle tittle-tattle gossip, which seems to fill our lives on front of magazines and newspapers. But his story kind of segues into Didge's, who's been investigating into what looks like a zombie fest murder spree. And this has connections to the small boy here we see on the cover, and his storytelling, his writing of stories. And it's got this kind of Walking Dead feel, because yes, zombies do turn up in this issue. Great kind of use of not only kind of like the whole zombie trope, but Peter Carey uses a page out of the book that this little child is writing. You get a whole page splash of an excerpt of the story he's writing, and it clearly shows that what is being written in his book is actually transpiring in real life. Just another great issue of The Unwritten. Looking forward to the climax of this, so we can get to issue 50, and I'll be speaking a little bit more about issue 50 towards the end. Another great issue from Jeff Lemire, issue 16 of Justice League Dark. We've got our band of jail Dark, those that are left, in this kind of alternate world called Epoch, where magic is deemed untouchable. You're not allowed to use it, and so all these magical characters have taken refuge underground, and through this we get the story of how Epoch came to be about, where it was once this wonderful magical place, and then man came along with his science, didn't understand obviously the magic, and trod it down. Great. Deadman is used a lot in this issue, and it's great to see him coming to the forefront. He's a great character. I really enjoy it whenever Deadman kind of gets a bit of beef to his storyline, because he's usually kind of either being sulky in the background or almost Deadpoolish in a kind of jokey around kind of character. But he certainly gets plenty of action in this issue, despite being alive for all of 5 seconds and then being shot dead again. The Enforcer, this vicar, beefs himself up and captures our remaining jail Dark characters, taking them off to be presumably experimented on. And then all of a sudden we have a huge kind of earthquake that's not only affecting Epoch, but it's also affecting our world here on our Earth. And I just love the tagline at the end, in the kind of next and it was Crisis on Two Worlds, kind of harkening back to those old kind of JSA, JLA storylines that Scott Coston Bromstar has gone over many times in his videos. Just a fantastic issue. The artwork, I'm loving the artwork, and Jeff Lemire is just making Jail Dark one of the top-notch, kind of the dark, edgier side of our new DC universe. Brilliant, brilliant issue. I've not had a pick of the week with so few comics this week. Couldn't really, there was nothing outstanding, but just because I'll give it to iVampire issue 16. It's a shame we're ending very soon this run from Joshua Falkov. And this one, it's Constantine. Yes, he's turned up again. He's in our Vampire as well. He's come to help our ragtag mob of vampire hunters, and taking them off to his home, the House of Mystery. We get a kind of Cain and Lilith backstory from Cain, who's just turned up and who's human again. And we've got Bennett, who is in that pocket dimension within the Van Helsing Manor fortress, looking for a certain artifact that's going to be, well, quite frankly, a huge game changer, and certainly points to his bigger plans, and this plan is huge. The only thing I have to say that I haven't enjoyed about this issue was the artwork. Now, while Scott Clark is the only one who gets credited on the front of the issue, there are plenty of other artists on this. Some of them work, some of them don't. It's kind of a mishmash of art styles, but still trying to keep with the kind of Andrea Sorrentino's style, the kind of dark, the muted colours. But not really working for me. Far too many different styles. Sometimes it's very clean, sometimes it's just full of lines. So that's the only downside on iVampire, but still a cracking issue. I can't really tell you to go and pick this up now with it coming to the end, but please go check out the trades, or if you find these issues really cheap, do yourself a favour and go pick them up. So that was it. That was the 4 comics this week, I'm afraid. News-wise, I really haven't had a chance to catch up with much, but saying that, my heart leapt with joy when I finally saw the potential artwork for the upcoming Fables and the Unwritten crossover. Though they're saying it's not so much a crossover, it's an event. And the story, I believe, is only going to take place in the Unwritten. So we're not going to see anything actually in Fables, but the characters of Fables are going to be used within, the Unwritten. And it just made sense to me so long ago when this first got rumoured that this was going to happen. It was clear that these 2 comics should come together at some point, if only briefly. So I'm really looking forward to the Unwritten issue 50 when that all kicks off. Shout outs this week. To be honest, I'm trying to catch up with all the videos that you've put out this week, so I've only watched a few, but first thing I did when I came back, it had to be Scott and Tim's Finely Designed. I'll put the link to their latest sci-fi edition. Just another cracking video with 2 incredibly knowledgeable guys telling us all about the comic book sci-fi genre. Please go check that out. I've had a message from a a subscriber and a YouTube uploader called Geeked Out Sim. I'll put the link to his video below. But he's doing competitions aplenty at the moment. His latest one is a comic book giveaway. So go and check that out. He's also doing like Blu-ray DVD giveaways. And he was doing one other, I can't remember which. But for those of you who just love doing competitions and getting some free swag, go and check out his video and his channel to get a chance to win some goodies. And that's pretty much it for this week. Just to say, I came home to a huge email box full of YouTube comments, and especially new subscribers. Thank you so much to everyone who's just recently subscribed. As always, much appreciated. So with that, I'm going to go and watch some more YouTube videos and catch up on the past week of YouTube comic book community land. And I bid you adieu. So if it's your first time here, please subscribe in the button down there. Give it a big thumbs up and put some comments down below. What did I miss this week? It's good to be back. Bye everyone.